I would ask everybody, if you wouldn't mind, after you say your hellos, to mute yourself. We have quite a few people on today's call, and we may have a few more joining late. So now that I've got the recording going, let's verify. Yes, I do. So it is nice to have you all here. I'm very excited to share the early part of 2024 with you all. I put together a real nice training for us today. And I've got it all in a Word document so that I remember everything that I want to say. You should all be able to see that now. Can I get a thumbs up if everybody can see the document? Very good, very good. I see enough people, so I'm sure it's showing. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, Jeff, for raising your hand. And so I'm going to go ahead and start reading out on my document here, and you'll get a clear. This way, I have a clear training that I can put out on. This is going to go on YouTube, because this training I've opened to everybody that is in my list of people that are interested in what we're doing here at Let's Crypto. So I always start this is in place, by the way, of my Money Monday training that I normally do on Mondays for my Facebook group. That's usually a short 10 to 15 minute training. And I decided to start the new year in this way, open the training up to all of our regular members for our Thursday deep dive call, and everybody who's normally joins our Facebook trainings. The content for today is the exact content that I was going to do on the Money Monday call, only it's going to be much more in depth. So hello, my crypto brothers and sisters. Welcome to today's special deep dive community call and trading class. I am your host, Kelly Sunshall. My intention for today's call is to bring in the new year together to plan and prepare for the 2024 crypto boom. I've invited Let's Crypto members and non-members alike, and I hope you all enjoy today's call. I've divided the call into two parts. The first part will be our usual community deep dive call, and I'll start by talking about the hottest crypto narratives for 2024, and we'll end with our usual community question and answer. So we're just doing that part in reverse today. Rosemary, yes?
Wayne is trying to get in. He just texted the group.
Can somebody please send him the link? It's the same link that we've used every week for the last, I don't know how many months. If you want to try to if you put it into the Signal.
He says waiting for the host.
Let me double check. Nope.
Okay.
He's not in this group. He's not trying to get into this call.
Okay.
There he is. He just now showed up. So if he was waiting before, then it was the internet that was being slow.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Rosemary, for letting me know. Okay. Wayne, are you with us? Mr. Suey? Well, he was there. It's that now you see him, now you don't thing. I accepted his invitation, but I don't know. There he is. Internet, I guess, is being... I've got a very, very fast internet, so we should be okay. All right, I'm going to keep going. I can see you're here now, Wayne. Thanks for joining. So as I was just saying, I've divided this call into two parts. The first part, one more. The first part will be our usual community deep dive call, which I mentioned, and I'll start by talking about the hottest crypto narratives for 2024 based on my research, and we'll end with our community Q&A call. Or a Q&A conversation. We usually have that in reverse, but today we're going to do the Q&A after we do the deep dive part. The second part of this call is going to be a continuation of our weekly trading class. And the topic for today's trading class is risk management. So I want to get started first by sharing a definition, because we're going to talk about narratives. And I thought everybody would know what a narrative is, but I've talked to quite a few people who didn't know what I was talking about. So, first, a definition. What is a crypto narrative? Narratives in cryptocurrency refer to trending ideas, stories or beliefs that shape how people perceive and value cryptocurrencies. These narratives can influence investor sentiment, market trends, and the adoption of new technologies. In simpler words, narratives are just like categories. If any of you have used a CoinGecko, they have a great section in one of their tabs. You go under cryptocurrencies and it'll say categories. And categories are very similar to narratives, but their categories are a little bit broad. I don't know if they're broad or narrow. They aren't exactly the same as narratives that are talked about out in the community. They're similar. They're very, very similar, but they have they break it down differently. So I'm following narratives based on what the industry is talking about, not just what's on CoinMarketCap. So I wanted to start off by sharing what the most popular narratives were for 2023. This will give you a good idea of what I mean by narratives. Can you all see the small words here on this graph? Okay, I'm just going to read the top few here. So for 2023, the very top prominent narrative was artificial intelligence. What's the #1 app that we've all seen come out in 2023? Well, most people know it as ChatGPT, but that was just one variation on AI. So that was big at 11.3% according to, this is from CoinGecko. That's their logo. The second one was GameFi. And GameFi is just the combining of gaming and DeFi. In other words, how can you make money with gaming? The third one, which we're all familiar with, I'm sure, is meme coins. And the meme coin that blew up there towards the end of the year was, of course, Bonk. But earlier in 2023, there were ape coins and it was all kinds of stuff. The fourth one was the Solana ecosystem, which I found interesting. And the next one was BRC20. And what that stands for is the stuff that's been going on Bitcoin. Bitcoin ordinals, that's mostly what I think about. So what does that mean? It's kind of like being able to put an NFT on the Bitcoin blockchain. That was something that just got created in 2023. So there you have it for the ecosystems that were big, not ecosystems, sorry, narratives that were big in 2023. And this is being recorded, and I will be uploading this video to YouTube. So it will be available to members and non-members alike. So you'll be able to come back and review this if you need to. Okay, let's talk about the hottest narratives of 2024 as I have come up with them. Now, as I said, I was up late last night and I spent most of yesterday and the day before doing this research. So here's what I've come up with. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the hottest narratives. I said I was only going to give 3, but to be honest, I couldn't narrow it down to just 3. These, to me, there's so much going on in crypto right now, so much cool stuff. This is what I've come up with. So the first one, and these are not in any particular order. So they're not in an order saying, oh, the first one I'm talking about is, I think, the best one, and the second one is the second best. Not necessarily, but these could happen all together or separately. I don't know. But here's what I think they are. Layer 2s is number 1 on my list. Layer 2s are off-chain vertical scaling solutions that run on top of L1s, layer 1s, like Ethereum, to improve scalability and reduce transaction costs. We'll talk a little bit more about L2s coming up. I'm going to talk about each one of these a little bit more as I scroll down in this document, and I'll give you the tokens that I have seen are the top tokens in each of these narratives. So the second one I have listed here is layer 1s. And at first, you know, the first thing you should think about when you hear a layer 1 is Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are the 2 biggest L1s. I am not naming them as my top 2 tokens in L1 because those are obvious. So L1s are a layer 1 blockchain, but a layer 1 blockchain is a base blockchain on which secondary blockchain networks and applications are built. Bitcoin and Ethereum are the 2 most prominent. However, I'm going to list 2 more that I think are could do good things in 2024. And as I already mentioned, in 2023 was artificial intelligence. It continues to be prominent in 2024. The growth of artificial intelligence has been exponential in recent years, and venture capital firms are currently pouring lots of money into this sector. Now, some of the experts that I follow are telling us to be careful with this narrative because there's so much money being poured into the AI theme by VCs. It has a tendency to get a lot of attention just while they're pumping so much money into it. So it may be early for AI. I can't tell. Nobody knows, but it is something that VCs are pushing. And when it's just being pushed by VCs, I kind of like, okay, is the rest of the world catching on, or is this just being talked about by the people who are investing in it? VCs, venture capitalists. All right, the next one on our list of narratives is GameFi and NFTs. GameFi is another hot narrative well positioned to outperform in the coming years. Web3 infrastructure offers one of the best methods to distribute value within gaming ecosystems, and the resulting potential could be huge. And I've lumped NFTs and GameFi together because the little bit of research I did, I'm not a gaming person. I'll be the first to admit that. The research I did on GameFi, which is gaming and finance, DeFi finance, it sometimes includes NFTs. Some of those gaming platforms use NFTs, some don't. So the NFT world seems to be focused more on the gaming section as opposed to real world assets. And I'll talk more about that here in a little bit. The next and last of my top 5 narratives is DePIN. And as best I can tell, because I've seen it listed as in 2 different ways, but the most websites I've found list DePIN as decentralized physical infrastructure. So the DePIN sector, I got a bunch more people joining. Hold on one moment. The DePIN sector will experience a growth spurt amid the growing utility of decentralized infrastructure for AI. Given AI needs compute, data sets, storage, and more, this rally will likely touch many existing players within the DePIN sector. And I'm going to list some of the top tokens that I am paying attention to for this narrative coming up shortly here. So I will pause one moment, give myself a chance to take a drink of water, and ask if anybody has any questions regarding those top 5 narratives that I've laid out. You don't have to raise your hand. If you have a question, just unmute yourself and blurt it out. Do those narratives make sense to you? Karen, what do you think? Those narratives make sense to you? You're muted, hon. Yeah, you.
Okay, I got it. No, they all make sense. They all make real sense. We've been going over them year after year, and nothing new to me. But
yeah, I figured. I have 2 runner-ups that I'm going to save for the very end of this section of this part 1, because I had a real hard time picking between, I had about 7 of them that I thought were really big. And there's lots of narratives. There's like, there's at least 50 different narratives. So welcome all the newcomers. Thank you so much for joining today. So I have 2 more runner-ups that I'll talk about here after we go through all the individual narratives and their tokens. So let's go ahead and continue on. So for the layer 2 tokens, my top 2 choices and the top 2 in the industry, some of the top 2, there's lots of them, but these are right around in the top 5 or so, is Arbitrum and Optimism. And I know people that are already in my Let's Crypto membership program are very familiar with both these platforms. So the Arbitrum is a layer 2. It's a EVM, an Ethereum virtual machine platform, which means that it's compatible with the Ethereum ecosystem. Its current market cap is right around $2.5 billion. And Arbitrum is a layer 2 blockchain for Ethereum that powers fast, smart contracts while reducing transaction costs. That's one of the main purposes for it. And I'll tell you from experience, it's way cheaper than doing transactions on Ethereum. The layer 2 solutions scale layer 1 blockchains by delegating computational tasks like transaction processing and data storage to the layer 2 chains. So I'm not going to go into a lot of the technical stuff about each of these platforms. I just want you to know they exist. And if any of these get your attention or they look attractive to you, please, you'll take note and go do some of your own research when you have time. So the second one in our layer 2 narrative is Optimism. And Optimism has a market cap of about $3.2 billion. And it is an L2 blockchain also designed to scale Ethereum securely and flexibly using optimistic rollup technology. Optimism uses a technology called optimistic rollups, which rolls up a bunch of transactions into a single transaction. And this bundling of transaction increases transaction speed and lowers gas costs. And it's very different from Arbitrum. Is Arbitrum an optimistic rollup? Do you remember, Karen? I don't remember. I think it is.
I don't think it is.
It's not a ZK, so it must be, maybe it's just totally different technology. So I didn't do.
I've ever heard.
Say again, Thomas?
I don't think I've ever heard anybody say.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. I don't think anybody's ever said whether it's an optimistic rollup or a ZK rollup or if it's something totally different. But it is one of the most popular right now. It is Arbitrum season, as I've heard it called. So be aware that several ecosystems on the Arbitrum chain are doing very well. And the Arbitrum token itself is doing very, very well. It's one of my, it's what I'm making so much money on Arbitrum right now. I don't even remember what the percentage is. It's so high because I got it all as an airdrop. The best way to get tokens that are good tokens is as an airdrop, but I want to stay on task here, just talking about narratives today. So that's our layer 1 tokens. I'm going to continue on now with the next narrative, which is our layer 1 tokens. And as I mentioned earlier, the two biggest, of course, are Bitcoin and Ethereum. And it looks like I got somebody else trying to join. Let me just make sure everybody's in. Looks like we're good. If anybody's trying to get in, and if you guys hear about it, let me know. I'll make sure we get everybody in after that have come in late. So the layer 1 tokens that anybody in our membership is very familiar with Solana and AVAX, but we're going to talk a little bit more about them here. So Solana has a market cap of $43.4 billion. It's huge. Solana is a blockchain platform designed to host decentralized scalable applications. Solana is much faster regarding the number of transactions it can process and has significantly lower transaction fees than Ethereum. What makes Solana so special right now is the fact that it survived the FTX scandal. I'm not going to go into all the details because I'm not prepared to, but I do know the fact that it didn't die after FTX's debacle it has now made Solana lendy, which is a term we use in the investing world to say that it's got legs, it's survived the bad times, and it's still holding on, it's still doing good, it still has lots of attention, it still has lots of developers, and it still has lots of money. So things that are happening on the Solana ecosystem are worth paying attention to going into 2024. The next one is Avalanche. Now, Avalanche's market cap is $13.5 billion. Avalanche is a blockchain platform that aims to address the blockchain trilemma, which they're all trying to do, of scalability, security, and decentralization, thanks to its unique proof-of-stake mechanism. Avalanche employs the fastest consensus mechanism of any layer 1 blockchain. And if you've been paying attention to the AVAX token, it has just been on a tear for the last, what has it been, a month or two, something like that. And we're expecting it to continue to do good things in 2024. As a matter of fact, one of the guys that I followed showed a graph that I didn't include here that showed how what AVAX is doing right now on the charts is identical to what it did in 2021 before it took off to its all-time high of 2021. And it's showing the exact, literally it's retracing, looks almost exactly like it did in 2021. So if it follows if it continues its same pattern from then, it's poised to go up quite a bit more. All right, next one on our list is AI tokens. And I'm not as familiar with the AI ecosystem, but I've done a little bit of research, and I also know that many people in our community have started talking about one of these projects in particular. So there's BitTensor, which its symbol is Tau, T-A-O, and Render. And BitTensor is the one that is being talked about in our community. And its market cap is $1.7 billion. And BitTensor is a decentralized machine learning protocol. It's a decentralized network connecting machine learning models globally, functioning like a collective brain with distributed neurons. These models collaborate to process information resembling the synergy of neurons in the human brain. Try to wrap your head around that and figure out exactly what they're doing. I would need to do a lot more studying, but it is on my radar now for 2024. The second one here in our list for AI as a narrative is one called Render. I noticed that CoinGecko actually shows Render in a couple of different categories. One was this, and I don't remember what the other one was, but I found that interesting. Render has a market cap of $1.7 billion. Render is a trailblazer in integrating AI, blockchain, and graphics rendering. Built on Ethereum, Render is a decentralized GPU, graphics processing unit, rendering network that provides users access to a global GPU resource marketplace. I can't even quite wrap my brain around how this technology is working. I mean, everybody has a graphical interface of some kind in their computer in order to be able to see the graphics on the screen. Somehow they're making this available in a marketplace. So, but this is the way things are going. We're going more and more online and more where all of the things that are here locally on your little machine, you're going to be able to access via the blockchain or via the internet in some way. So those are my two choices for the AI section going into 2024.
Hey, Kelly,
Yes, sir.
what chain is BitTensor on?
That is a good question. BitTensor, I didn't write that down. I didn't pay close attention to what chains these were on, because for all I know, they could be on multiple chains. Because the way these L1s and L2s are going, the intention is that we won't care what chain any of these things are on. They'll just be on all chains. So because everything will be, interfacing with everything else. Maybe you can look that up for us, Thomas, and let me know before the call's over.
Okay.
It's a good question, though. It's always the question on my mind is what chain are these things on? But I usually figure that out after I've decided which one of these are going to get my attention. So the next narrative is GameFi tokens. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm not a game person, but it's gotten huge attention in the last 3 months. One of the other platforms I follow for reports and research, I believe it showed in the last 3 months that the GameFi narrative was like heads and tails above everybody else. So the two that are the top two in this narrative is Immutable X and Sandbox. Now, these might seem boring to people who are familiar with the GameFi section because these two have been around for a long time. I made money in Sand several years ago. when I did my research on the internet, people were shilling all kinds of GameFi platforms, all kinds of GameFi protocols. And I thought, if it were me in my style of investing, I'm not going to go chasing these GameFi things that haven't been around a while. I want to see stuff that's lindy. So I stuck with the top two that in this category. Immutable X has a market cap of $2.7 billion. Immutable is a global leader in gaming on a mission to bring digital ownership to every player. Immutable is here to make asset ownership and commerce in digital worlds real through immutable NFTs. The next one on our list here is called Sand. The Sandbox is a virtual world where players can build, own, and monetize their gaming experiences on the Ethereum blockchain using Sand. And Sand has a market cap of $1.1 billion. And both of these projects have been around long enough that they can survive, in my opinion, another down market when we have one, because they've survived the last one or two. Okay. Now this next narrative, DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure. I've heard all the research I did and all the different experts that I've listened to, everybody giving their 2 cents about what they think the hottest narratives are 2024. Several people came back with DePIN is going to be one of the hottest in 2024. I heard this from multiple places. And then the hard part is picking which one. I'm actually following about 5 different projects in my watch list. And these are 2 that are on my list. And I stuck with these 2. One, because Helium is probably I believe it is the largest market cap in this sector. And Akash, it was between Akash and Airweave. It's really hard for me to just pick 2. But these are the ones I stuck with. Helium has been around for a while. I'll read what I have written here for it. It has a market cap of $897 million. Helium is a decentralized network of wireless hotspots expected to reach 100,000 paying subscribers for its nationwide US 5G plan. And they currently have only 5,000. I couldn't get any clear information about if they're expected to reach that 100,000 paying customers just in 2024. I do know that they are making money. They are there's a lot of blockchain projects out there that are doing lots of really cool and fun things, but they don't have paying customers for what they have. This company has paying customers and they are expanding. I actually looked into creating my own Helium node and then decided to stick with my thesis, which is I'm not going to get into playing with hardware. I'm going to stick with doing digitally. I'm going to stick with trading and doing stuff like this. But that's something you can look into if that interests you. The next one in this category is Akash Network. Akash has a market cap of $571 million, and Akash is an open source super cloud that lets users buy and sell computing resources securely and efficiently. Thanks, Philippe. It uses a reverse auction system where customers submit their desired price and providers compete for their business. I just find this to be a really interesting business model. The graph below, which I'll show you in just a sec, shows the rising tide of DePIN projects in 2023. And many analysts expect this trend to continue in 2024 due to the needs of AI blockchain projects. So I want to come back and just say a few more words about Akash, because as I said earlier, all of our computing needs, it's all going to go online. I'm having a hard time, quite frankly, with the idea of letting go of my computer, that everything that my computer does will be done via some kind of a technology online. So here, the Akash is literally going to be selling us the resources, computing resources. So it'd be like your chip in your computer that does all the work. It's going to be moved online. In the project I told you about earlier, it was the GPU, the graphical user interface, the graphical interface that's going to be done online. So this seems to be a trend of where things are going for computing needs of computers. So let's look at this graph I have. Any questions so far about all of those questions or comments about the narratives and the tokens? Yeah, go ahead, Rosemary.
I just want to say about render. I have heard several people talk about it because when you're trying to render a video, you need, it takes forever on your computer. And even for
Yes.
like a 60-second video. And now with AI getting into video, they're complex videos. And so to have a cloud being able to do the rendering for you, rendering is like the most tedious, time-consuming thing, and you can't even use your computer because it's all busy doing the rendering. It seems like, you know, something waiting, a need waiting to be filled. So
100%.
several people mention it.
That's good to know, as I go through that same experience that you just described with the videos that I put out. If I want to edit them just a smidgen, it takes a long time. It takes a lot of my time to deal with these long videos. So thanks for that information. That's good to know. That kind of feedback is what can really help you make a decision about what's a good investment and what's not. Okay, so here's the graph I wanted to show you, and this is a graph for DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure projects as a whole in 2023, and I just found it very telling. And I believe this came from The Block, which is a reputable research firm. So this starts in January and it ends here in November, and this is in millions of dollars. In millions of KM. I don't know what KM is. Millions of some currency. That's huge. That's like a major trajectory. So if DePIN keeps going along this line, we'll do good in 2024. So now I'm going to talk about my two runner-ups, and I left out their details because I was running out of time putting this all together. But let me bring it up on my other screen over here because I think I have it open or have it nearby, and I can share with you the details that I didn't include in this document. So my two runner-ups here, the first one was RWA, which is real world assets. And real world assets is a big narrative. The question is, are we too soon? This is why it didn't make my cut. I don't know if real world assets are going to make their big move in 2024 or 2025. I know Susan, who's a member of our group, has suggested that real world assets will be big in 2024. But others that I follow are suggesting that it might get started, but it might not have as much steam as we would like it to have until 2025. However, with that in mind, getting in before a token has a lot of steam behind it is a good thing. So I'm just going to overlay over the top of this here, my other Word document, so that we can look at the tokens, the information that I did not include. So the real world assets, the two that I've settled on are Maple Finance and Pendle. And it wasn't easy deciding which two. Now, many of you in our, that's in my membership program will recognize Pendle. And Maple is one that I've seen, the name I've seen thrown around quite a bit. But let's see what these are about. So Maple Finance has a market cap of 124 million. Maple is an institutional capital marketplace that operates on the blockchain. Because it's institutional based, that's why we don't see it a lot. Maple focuses on serving institutional and individual accredited investors only with high quality lending opportunities. So if you're not accredited, you're not going to use their platform if you're not an institution. But that doesn't mean they aren't going to make money. It doesn't mean that their token isn't going to do a good thing. So it's one to consider. The second one is Pendle. Pendle has a market cap of $130.8 million. And Pendle is a protocol that enables the tokenization and trading of future yield. Pendle is a dynamic automated market maker, an AMM, focusing on yield-bearing assets. Pendle assets function like bonds, carrying their own maturity dates. I thought that was interesting.
Thank you.
It's not for my soda.
So those two are part of the real world asset tokens that are my runner-ups. My second runner-up was SocialFi. And SocialFi is combining social media with finance, generally DeFi, decentralized finance. So in this sector, it's all about how can we monetize, how can people monetize all the time they spend on social media? When I looked at some of these platforms, not these two, but some of the others, I was like, OMG, I just don't think I could even do it. You know, they were just overwhelming with just, it seemed like it was one of the ones I looked at, can't remember the name of it, was big in Asia, in the Asian countries. And these kids were just spending so much time on these platforms. And just from all the clicking and doodling and looking at things, they're somehow earning something that they might be able to monetize and turn into cash. That's what this whole sector is, or narrative is about. So the top two that I'm paying attention to, that I've actually, I actually have owned both of these, I don't think I do right now, is Theta Network and Decentralized Social, called DeSo. So the Theta market, Theta Network has $1.17 billion market cap. That's not small. That's bigger than the RWA and the AI one, I think, as far as the size goes. The Theta Network is a blockchain-enabled content streaming platform for decentralized video streaming. Now, I've been following Theta for several years, and I am very excited about what they say they're going to do. But the last time I checked, they haven't exactly done it yet. So this is no small task. So if they get it, if they can get it done and get it right, I think they got to, it could be big. But do some research on it, because I don't know that they've accomplished it yet. Decentralized Social, or DeSo, also has a market cap of $1.17 billion. And Decentralized Social empowers an internet that's creator-led, user-owned, and open to millions of developers worldwide. It is a blockchain-based social media platform that seeks to revolutionize how users interact with each other and monetize their content. I haven't looked at it lately. I did buy some. I got onto their platform because I was excited about how they were doing things, and I haven't been back for a while. Just haven't had time. So those are my two runner-ups. Well, we're not done yet.
Hey, Kelly,
Yeah.
that looks like it's on the Polkadot chain.
Which one?
That BitTensor thing.
BitTensor is on Polkadot?
That's what Google says.
Here's a gabapentin. Right
Okay. Everybody should take note of that. Polkadot is a very powerful blockchain that has parachains. It kind of reminds me of Avalanche. Avalanche has all these side chains. There's a lot of different blockchains that are having side chains, app chains, parachains. They have all different kind of names for them, but that's interesting. So BitTensor is on Polkadot. Polkadot is its own chain. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not EVM compatible, I don't believe. I don't believe it's in EVM. I don't believe Polkadot is an EVM compatible chain, but so, well, that is all I have for part one of our training today. And so, Susan, you heard me talking about you. Thanks for joining us. I just got through sharing with people a little bit about real world assets and the tokens that I think might have some legs in 2024. And it was actually one of my runner-ups because I wasn't sure if it was early for 2024 or if it actually might do better in 2025. if you have any thoughts you'd like to share, please do that now because we just finished talking about it. Make sure I actually got her in here. Well, when Susan's available,
Here.
she'll pop in. Hey, Susan,
here.
do you have anything you want to share about real world assets? We were just talking about, these are my two runner-ups for my narratives for this 2024. I had 5 others before this. I made the RWA a runner-up because I wasn't sure if it was going to make it big in 2024 or if it would actually happen in 2025.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think it's probably going to come later rather than sooner. I think it's a long way to go to actually turn into something. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's good.
Awesome. Well, that is the end of the first part of our program today. And this is the time when I usually open up the floor for any and all questions or comments. And we've got at least 20 or 30 minutes that we can do that. And if we sit here in silence, then we're going to stop and take a break. And then I'll bring up the trading class and then we'll start on the trading class. But I always want to make sure the floor is open for anybody who's got a question, and I will be happy to do a deep dive into any of the platforms that you might have a question about or a concern about.
This is super pretty one. Yeah.
Anybody? I have some of my own.
I have a question about what is going on right now with Arbitrum and Radiant, you know. And yeah, so I forgot to ask Chris yesterday. I also have some stuff on Balancer. So do I need to remove those two?
I'm really glad you just asked that, Paula, because that's exactly what I was just about to bring up. So for anybody who's on, if you're part of our membership, you know that we've been big on Radiant platform, Radiant Capital, but Radiant had an issue in the last day or so, and it wasn't a hack. That's what I thought it was at first, because that's what a lot of the guys I follow call it. It was actually a flash loan attack, if you want to call it that. You know, I wish I knew exactly what that means. It's these kids that do this coding stuff, that sit at the computer all day long and do coding, they figure out how to hack this shit and do stuff to these programs and stuff that I can't spend all my time understanding all the technology. I will tell you this: the blockchains are not hacked, okay? The blockchains themselves, where your data lives, is always, as far as I can tell, okay, at least especially for all the bigger ones. Who's, I'm going to mute somebody here.
Oh, probably me, sorry.
That's okay, I got you muted. The problem comes into the applications that interface with the blockchain, or the wallets that interface with the blockchain, which is just an application. So that's what happened, is this application, which is Radiant Capital, which allows you to do borrowing and lending, and you earn, I don't know if it's going to show us anything. You can earn, yeah, here we go. You earn interest, if you want to call it, or rewards. It's called both. It's kind of synonymous in the world of crypto. You can earn by depositing your capital. And when you deposit your assets, you earn both their rewards token as well as their platform fees. And when you borrow, you pay to borrow, but you also earn their rewards tokens for borrowing. So this is why this has been attractive. Holy Toledo, that's a pretty high borrow rate right there for USDC. Yeah. So somebody figured out how to do a flash loan. I could look it up, but I'm not gonna. It just suffice it to say, somebody figured out how to steal some money from Radiant. And what I'm remembering is that it was a small amount. For a company like this, it was a small amount. It was in the millions, a few million. It wasn't. It wasn't. According to the guys that I follow, it wasn't enough to hurt this company because they can absorb it.
Yeah, it was like
I heard
8
less
million.
than 5.
Oh, 5?
How many?
Yes. I thought it was 8,
Less-
but maybe less than
Oh,
5.
I've heard
Somewhere
5,
in there.
not a
Yep.
lot.
So
Yeah, it was real small.
somewhere between $5 and $8 million. So what has what they've done here, Paula, if you're still with us, if she lost a connection, then you can catch it on the replay. What they've done is they've just paused all of the markets. Arbitrum markets are temporarily paused. Funds are safe. So, because I have a position open on this platform, so I went in there as soon as I heard that, and I thought, oh, I'm just going to close this position, and it wouldn't let me. I got these error messages that I didn't understand. Well, now now I have since found out that they've just disconnected their app from the Arbitrum blockchain until they get a handle on whatever happened. So funds are safe. We can't do anything to do anything with our transactions here or our positions on Radiant. Now, your question also included one about Balancer, Paula. So Balancer, as many of you know who are in our group, is the one who creates the DLP positions on Radiant. Let me jump back to Radiant for a second. My DLP is not going to show because I can't connect my wallet or anything. I don't think it'll do anything. So the DLP that gets created here on this platform is a combination of ETH and Radiant. It's 80% ETH and 20%, excuse me, the other way around. 80% Radiant, 20% ETH. And those DLP positions are actually created by Balancer, but you could say we stake them on Radiant. That's what I'll say. So I actually have some of my DLP, if you want to call it that now, is in Balancer right now, Paula, and it's fine. Balancer was not affected by what's going on over on Radiant because it's a different platform. And I connected my wallet yesterday and saw that everything was there, everything's fine. And one of the ways you can verify this, and I'm happy to show you here, is you can use DeBank. Let's see, let me go find, let me go grab an address that is an address that will get us information I want to share. You can use DeBank to verify that your transactions are still there. All you have to do is get your wallet address, paste your wallet address in the search bar, and it'll show you all that you've done with that wallet. And so this wallet is where I have my position on Radiant Capital. I deposited some assets and then I borrowed some assets against it, and I'm earning on both sides. And so it shows here that I still have all my money sitting on Radiant Capital. It's not gone anywhere. I haven't lost anything. And it's on a different wallet that I have my Balancer positions. That's what it looks like in DeBank. Radiant. Yeah, that's still on Radiant Capital.
Your screen's not showing.
Oh, please, thank you for telling me. Gosh, I wish you'd told me sooner. I'm so sorry. It's only showing you my my Word doc. Thanks for stepping up and telling me. I don't know if you don't say something. So here, I was showing you Radiant Capital earlier that you didn't see any of. So on Radiant Capital here is what I was showing is that you deposit your assets, you earn both platform fees and you earn Radiant rewards. When you borrow against your assets, you pay a fee, which is the top number, and you earn rewards. So what it's showing down here is that the Arbitrum markets are temporarily paused, but your funds are safe. Can you all see that? I usually ask. I guess I didn't ask this time. I just assumed it was visible. Okay, so we should be fine. Now, what I was telling you is that you can verify this by taking your wallet address that you've used for this for these transactions and plugging it into DeBank. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, plug it into bank. All you do is copy and paste your address up here in the search bar. And then you can go and look at your portfolio. And it clearly shows that all my Radiant Capital funds are there. And if you want to see your individual transactions, of course, you can click on the transactions tab and you can see all the transactions. Now you'll notice a bunch of them are grayed out. They gray out the ones they think are scams, which is nice. Okay, the other thing we looked at is go ahead,
Yeah,
Thomas.
I looked at mine last week, and man, there's a whole bunch of scam things there.
Yes.
Actually, more scam things than real transactions.
Yeah, you can see that right here, just on mine as well. There's more scam things than there is real transactions in places. I agree. And that's why we have to be careful. And all these new tools are coming out to help us recognize what might be a scam and what isn't. You'll see this is a supposed airdrop. And this is why it's so important to be part of a community like what we have, because then we can check with each other. Is this airdrop that I just heard about a scam? And we've got a lot of knowledgeable people that can let you know whether they think it is or it isn't. And I'm one of them. Karen's one of them. Yeah.
Can you explain further why they're showing us these things? Are they trying to scam the entire crypto community or just your individual wallet? Why are they showing up like this?
Why does the bank show these transactions?
Yeah. Why do they? Who
Well,
are they?
You'd have to ask them, but my guess is that these are transactions that have happened on your wallet address.
Well,
So they're not
that's exactly what I'm asking. Yeah.
as far
Huh.
as my understanding is, these are transactions that were sent to your wallet address. It's no different than you getting a scam phone call. In other words, people get your phone number off the phone book. It used to be the phone book. Now they get it wherever they get it. And you get all these phone calls trying to sell you on a loan or trying to sell you on this thing or that thing. You know, it's like they get your address and they send you junk mail. It's just like getting junk mail in the mail.
So they're trying to attack your wallet here?
Yeah,
Well,
it's probably just hitting all wallets that are out there.
Yep.
And it's just
True.
hitting everybody. And so all of this junk is showing up, but because they recognize it for what it is, they're graying it out. I'm surprised. I suspect they're working on an update to their interface that these actually don't show up. In fact, there's a filter scam at the top. If you hit that, probably it hides them, and then they just go into the background, my guess.
Filter.
I'm just
Yep.
clicking on that now to see if that's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
Yeah, that gets rid of them.
Yep. It sure seems to. That's nice.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then if there's something that's missing, you can go back, you can open up that filter and go back and see if they've taken one of your transactions and called it a scam when it isn't really. It's like things
Exactly.
that go into your junk file, they don't actually not accept them. They just put them somewhere so that they're not in your face. But if there's something missing, you can still get back and see if they're over there somewhere.
That's why they don't just delete them. You know, it's just like when we get
That's
junk
right.
mail at home. My partner doesn't throw my junk mail away.
Yeah, that's right.
She wants
That's
to
right.
give me the opportunity to look at it and decide for sure,
Whether
is it
it's
junk? And
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
doing
I
the
may
same
want
thing.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
One man's junk is another man's treasure. So, you know, but in this case,
Right.
I tend to trust when they say something is a scam. I've never gone through and looked. The only thing I would do is if I couldn't find a transaction that I knew I did,
Right.
that's when I would go look and see if
That's
they
when you'd look.
accidentally turned it, you know, called it a
Yeah.
scam.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to be looking for something specific to bother going in there.
Yes. So it looks very different when I turned on the
Yeah, it
hide
changes the
scam
layout.
button. Yeah, it
changes
changed it. I don't like, and I don't,
Yeah, I
It's-
don't like it as much either.
yeah, down here looks fine. Looking at the actual transactions looks fine, but up here,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't let me uncheck it without connecting my wallet, which I'm not going to do right now, which I thought
Oh.
was interesting.
And
See
if
what-
you click on it, then it doesn't actually let you go into any of these without going to their paid version.
Really?
Yeah. Top
They have a
protocol,
paid version of the bank now?
I guess. When you
Oh,
click on that, my top left under top protocols is Uniswap v3. And when I click on it, it says subscribe to enjoy advanced features, paid feature.
Mm,
So
well, that's where a lot of these things are going. And DeBank,
Yeah.
of course, is created by, who was DeBank created by? This app was created by somebody that we all know, and I'm
Was
trying
that
to remember.
MetaMask?
No, it wasn't
No.
MetaMask. No, because if it was Consensus, that had created it, I would be
Mm.
I would be looking for alternatives. Let's just put it that way.
No.
MetaMask, it was created by Consensus. And
Okay.
the greatest alternative, oh, I know what it is, Rabby Wallet. The Rabby
Mhm.
Wallet was created by DeBank. That's the connection I'm trying to
Correct.
recall. So
Mhm.
the Rabby Wallet is a competitor now to MetaMask, and that's another topic I would love to go into maybe on a future call. Is I want to do a deep dive into Rabby Wallet. I set mine up.
Hmm.
I started to set up some transactions, and I like it and I don't like it. Okay,
Mm.
so I'll just leave it at that. It does some things really cool, and it does other things. I scratch my head going, huh? It's like, yeah, there's some things. And the biggest problem I had with it, certain platforms don't recognize it. So the one thing
Yep.
that I went in there to do, I couldn't do because the platform didn't have a connection to Rabby Wallet. So I had to move funds back out of Rabby to MetaMask, get my transaction done, my bridge or whatever it was, and then move my money back if I was going to try to do it from Rabby. And I just said, okay, at this point, I'm just going to leave it in MetaMask.
Kelly,
Yes, ma'am.
Chris was talking about that yesterday, and he says that, maybe it's good if you open you have a MetaMask address and you use that to open a Rabby wallet. So that way, when you go into a website that just only take MetaMask, it will allow you to use your Rabbit wallet because it will, I don't know, somehow it just give you the option to
Delete some.
to use MetaMask connected to your Rabbit wallet, something like that.
Exactly. I did look into that, Paula. I
Okay.
noticed. I noticed it, and I checked it out, and to be honest, it's adding too many layers of risk for me. So
Yeah.
I looked at it, and I thought, I'm not gonna test that out. It's like it's working over there on MetaMask. If you can't figure out how to get yourself connected to enough platforms that I can use your tool, I'm not gonna do this.
Mhm.
It's just too many layers of risk there. So I'd be curious to hear the other guys that are doing it, if they've had any trouble with it. And it was more than I wanted to take the time to figure out. It's like, OMG, can you make something easy for me to use, please? There's some aspects of the Rabby wallet that make it really easy to use. And I really did like that part. The only part that was a problem was all the different platforms that don't support it yet. So
Yeah, but it's early.
it's
And
early.
and it's probably doing that link to MetaMask to keep itself in sync so that people can make that move across eventually as things show up. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
but I'm with you. I think decentralization means not going for convenience all the time. It's about keeping things separate and disconnected from each other as much as possible when it's such a scammy space. So it's good to
Yeah.
have many different things, but you miss the whole value of that when you link it all together. So it's too early for linking things.
Yeah, I didn't
Can I
feel.
say something here?
What's that?
Wayne, go ahead.
Yeah, just on that, just put my 2 cents in there regarding the wallets. Django was really hot about keeping you about wallet separation video, and then I watched he pumped it up again. I think it was
Yeah, yesterday or Wednesday.
an email about keeping all your wallets separate, and yeah. I just saw something about it. I didn't actually watch it. I don't know. He's been really hot about it, and he posted up quite a while ago a sophisticated chart on it and how to keep them more separate. So my other thought was that DeBank, as you all know, DeBank is a well-known organisation, and they're probably just getting started with the Rabby wallet and others. And So they'll probably get it all sorted out in a little while. But as we all know, the banks a pretty well known sort of organisation, and they're pretty safe. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Thanks, Wayne. I like the bank and I like the Rabby wallet. I just need a little bit more functionality is all.
Mhm.
Another comment?
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Wayne. So if we don't have any more, does anybody have any more platforms you want to do a deep dive into or a question? Rosemary?
I just wanted to ask you about Gamma. You sent a message about Gamma being hacked.
Yeah.
Is that just the V1 or is that the V2? Is that what is going on with that?
Well, Gamma, is Gamma, what do you mean V1, V2? Gamma's only one thing.
So
And-
it's not the GMX.
No. Let me bring it up.
It's
so you
its
can,
own thing.
Yeah, let me
It's
bring
the
it up. So you can
Arbitrum. Gamma on the Arbitrum chain.
So this is what Gamma looks like. Let's see, this is what we're used to seeing. I'm not going to hook any wallets up today, right now anyway. And I had a position open here. This is where you can open a position, but is Gamma called like an aggregator? Other platforms will utilize Gamma, actually other platforms. So Beefy is an aggregator, you could say. And I forget what the other one he said, Beefy and one other. In that text I gave you, what was the other platform that I said? If you start,
Beefy and something, I forget.
yeah, Beefy and one other that we don't use that much. Beefy was one I figured you'd all recognize.
Camelot is the other one. Camelot.
Camelot.
Oh, yeah,
Camelot,
Camelot.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, Camelot.
right.
Yeah. I never did set up a position from Camelot, but those 2 platforms, Beefy and Camelot, utilize Gamma on the back end. So here's where we have apps connected to blockchains.
Right.
And is it my understanding is all the positions here on Gamma are V3 positions, correct?
Well, and if Arbitrum had a problem, then Gamma would have an impact from that. So that may be,
Well, no, that
Are they
problem
related?
that was specific to
unrelated?
Radiant Capital. That was a flash loan loan on Radiant Capital.
Oh, okay.
That problem wasn't related to Gamma. Gamma itself was hacked, not the Arbitrum platform.
okay.
So I never did like Gamma. I didn't like the way we did a test on it. The way it rebalances, it just seemed like I wasn't making very much money. Maybe I was. I came in and did it so that I could earn some OP, which I did. And then luckily, I just happened to close my positions out a month or 2 ago before the holidays. I closed out all my Gamma positions. I follow my intuition as much as I follow research and technology.
Yeah.
My intuition has kept me safe more than anything else that is a tool in my toolbox. And that's not something I can teach. I can only share that if you feel something inside that doesn't feel right about a platform
Yeah.
or a project or anything, please trust that.
Yeah.
That's your intuition trying to keep you safe.
Yeah. There's enough choices out there that if you're not sure about something, just get out of it.
Yep. So
And
I don't.
Sorry, that it was only on Arbitrum, right? Because my position it was on Gamma, but on Optimism.
You know,
It
The-
looks like it was everything okay. So, but anyway, I took
The
your
warning-
advice.
I think Philip's right. It was only on the Arbitrum.
was it only on Arbitrum, Thomas? I was going to try to go double check that real quick.
That's what you put on the message
Did I say
Okay.
that it was just Arbitrum?
on Arbitrum. Yes.
Good. So, okay, John says, yes, it is just Arbitrum. So yeah, that's good. So if you had something on Optimism, which is what we did when we came in here to do this, we did it on Optimism
Yeah.
because we wanted to earn OP tokens.
Mhm.
So as far as my understanding goes, this does not have to do with the Arbitrum blockchain. However, the fact that there was an attack on 2 different applications, both
Related
on
to-
Arbitrum, it makes me wonder if there was some connection to the Arbitrum blockchain, but the blockchain itself is not hacked and is fine.
Right.
So it's the applications and how they connect, and maybe how they connect to the blockchain made it easier for hackers to figure out how to attack
Get in
them.
there. Yeah.
And that might have to do with the functionality of the blockchain and how the apps connect to it, because all the blockchains are slightly different. They're not actually all blockchains, but that's a conversation for another day. Blockchain is just a catch-all term that we use to describe all digital ledgers these days, distributed ledgers.
Mm.
So the bottom line is, Paula, if you have a position on Gamma, on Arbitrum, close it and take your money out. But if you have a position on Polygon or on Optimism, so far you should be fine.
See, I have a position there, and it somehow got into the NFT thing and locked it. And they said that they were going to unlock the stuff so you could take it out, but mine's still locked.
An NFT on Gamma?
Yeah, it was when you, but I think the thing went through Camelot.
Okay.
So
Okay. Because Camelot does use, is it Camelot XYZ?
you know what? Then I'm not worried. Then I'm not on Arbitrum. So that fixes my
Exactly.
problem.
If it's not on Arbitrum, you should be okay. Because
Yeah.
these platforms, Camelot and Beefy, they use Gamma as their back end for when you set up a transaction, especially if it's a V3. And I have not used Camelot. There's just so many different platforms out there. I can't play with them all.
I know.
Nope,
I
nobody
started putting
can.
the funds in on Gamma, and they ended up with a Camelot position.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's
On what chain?
I think we were still on Arbitrum
Okay.
Gamma, but it ended up with an NFT on Camelot.
Thomas,
Nitro
yes,
Pool.
I do know that. It's because it's like a layer of a layer. They give you a choice of in where do you want to do the farming. So if you can do Camelot Gamma or Camelot Uniswap or Camelot, all these other things that they have around. That's why you end up in Camelot being in Gamma, something like that.
Yeah, so it's like this list here. This list keeps getting longer and longer. Your options of chains. So we're in Gamma, and these are all the different places that you can set up positions at. Through Thena, through QuickSwap, through Uniswap, and through Camelot.
Yeah.
And
the same position may be paying a lot more in a different chain than, you're looking at ARB USDC on Arbitrum, it may be paying a lot different than it would on the Optimism or whatever.
yeah. And I also want you to notice that I just brought up Camelot, and on Camelot, there's only positions on the Arbitrum chain. Interesting. It's like these, it's getting more and more complex. It's making Gamma look more like an aggregator now, which I didn't think it was, but this list right here certainly makes it look like an aggregator to me. But if I go to Uniswap, that's where I have the most choices of different chains. Ethereum, Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon, and Moonbeam. And QuickSwap is another good chain, or a good DEX, and it's only on Polygon. So you get so many choices. That's the hardest thing about crypto right now, is that there's so many choices.
Yeah, there's
How
no
do you
standards.
how do you decide where to put your money? And that's why platforms and programs like the Let's Crypto program is so important to help guide people in making good decisions about where to put their money. How do you have a plan? How much money do you have to play with? Where are you going to put it? How are you going to follow it? And when are you going to get out to actually, collect the money that you've made? So I want everybody who's visiting today, as some of our non-members, to keep that in mind. I wanted you to experience what it's like inside our membership platform. This is just our weekly calls. We also have a back-end knowledge center where everything that I've taught is available in the Knowledge Center, immediately. There's no lockup period. There's no dripping out of content. And I have everything broken down in deep dive format, which means I give you just the meat. I tell you step by step, this is how you go do this. This is how you go do that. And I have a whole boot camp section that will teach you how to be a better investor. And I highly recommend people that join to go through the boot camp. I also have the Crypto Guard tax ebooks. I just had somebody tell me yesterday how much they enjoyed the tax content I shared in my free ebook. And I said, well, I got 5 more, tax ebooks if you're interested in them, and they're available to all the members on the Knowledge Center. And in addition to the Knowledge Center and our weekly calls, we also have our 24/7 Signal chat group. And I use Signal because it's end-to-end encrypted, and it's a place where we can have private conversations about finances and feel safe. That's the reason we have a Signal group. And that's a place where I posted the content about, hey, get your positions closed on Gamma Arbitrum. This is where we give you whatever's going on in the moment. I'm posting on there the important stuff almost 24/7, but not while I'm sleeping. So I do take a break from crypto while I'm sleeping, but about the moment I get up, I start thinking about it. It's just where I'm passionate right now. So I share all that I know with people that are part of our membership, as well as people who are members of our Facebook group. I do share some information there. So thanks, John. The way to find out more about what's going on with our membership and how to join, let me share with the last little summary I have with you here. So that's it for today's deep dive training, the first half of today's call. And for those of you who are not yet members of our Let's Crypto program, but would like to be, you can please reply to one of my emails, because if you're on my email list, you can reply to any of them. They go straight to me, and let me know that you want more information, and I'll be sure to give it to you. Or you can DM me on Facebook, or however else you can send me a text message. I mean, people are pretty smart these days. If you're on Signal, you can find me on Signal, and you can direct message me there and let me know. We can set up a one-on-one call, and I can walk you through everything that's in the program. And if you just want the link to sign up and buy, I'll email that link back to you. So I want to let you know that I do have one spot left in our early bird membership program. I ran a special for 6 people. I called it the mentorship program, and it's really just the membership with free mentorship or free coaching. So I have one spot left that we didn't yet fill at the end of December. I was holding it for someone, and I haven't heard back from him. So I'm opening that up. And the first person who says I want it I will honor the mentorship price, because that price went away at the end of December. And as of the 1st of this year, I have slightly changed the, not the program itself, but the pricing of it has gone up as of this year. And it's also been extended. So it's gone up, but it's also for a longer period of time. So that's what you need to do if you want to get in. I also was going to put my, what I can also do for those on the call, I don't want to put it in the video because I'm going to put this video on YouTube. Here is my phone number. You can text me directly, and I will put that right in the chat. So there is my phone number that you can call, email, or text me. That's my Google Voice phone number. It forwards directly to my iPhone. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing that document. And the way we go into part 2 is
I want to add something, Kelly. Yes, I have to add something like a big thank you, Kelly. On the December 31st, I was watching on this side, on East Coast, at 10:30, December 31st at 10:30 p.m., a few hours before New Year. Kelly was sending a message, if you have some Trader Joe. So I got Trader Joe like 2 weeks before, and then I never stake my Trader Joe, and I didn't know that. So I started reading the message, And at 10:30 p.m., I just log in into my computer and I stake my Joe. Unbelievable. So that's the only thing I have to add. A big thank you, because that's blown my mind. 10:30 p.m.
So thank you so much, Philip. Philippe, yeah, it's like,
Thank you. Thank you.
I just found out like last minute that OMG, if we want to earn the Mo, I think it's called Mo, the
Yeah,
Mo
yeah.
Airdrop, you got to stake your Joe. And the deadline was the 31st. It's like, I was just reading it going, oh shit, I better get out there and go do that. And so I went ahead and shared that with the group. And that's the kind of thing that you guys can catch when you are part of our group. And that's the kind of thing that I will put in our Signal chat group. So I'm so happy that helped you out, Philippe.
Yep.